What seems just like background dialogue to introduce the character Supervisor Miro in episode 4 of Andor is actually full of a lot of background detail about the wider galaxy. First, Supervisor Grundy reports on Ryloth.
With the next quarter's detention estimates expected to increase across the Ryloth sector, any further erosion in local authority may require an increase in our Black Line budget.
Ryloth is honestly the worst place you can get an assignment to. Just 9 years earlier, in 14 BBY, Cham Syndulla and his resistance almost killed freaking Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader when he brought down their Imperial-class Star Destroyer. Huge amount of corruption amongst the local Imperial forces were also revealed, which led to this situation in the first place. And now in 5 BBY, the Empire continues to try and enforce its will on the Twi'leks, which of course is going to be fruitless in the long run. Next up, we get Supervisor Legret's report.
Legret, what is this item from Marvalis 6?
A positive development, sir. The dimensions of the conflict have diminished sufficiently that mining has resumed on the occupied land.
Storage issues with the displaced?
Ongoing.
It's pretty obvious what's going on here on Arvala 6, the sister planet of Arvala 7. That's where Mando finds his little baby Yoda. The Empire requires huge amounts of natural resources and minerals to build its massive navy and death machines, and unfortunately for the people on Arvala 6, they've been living on some of those resources, and the Empire needs it. Luckily for them, they're just being displaced and not blown up from orbit, which honestly makes mining and collecting resources a lot easier.
My staff is awaiting an assessment from Marvalis 6's Ministerial Director.
Because they've done such an excellent job so far,
I guess the Preox Morlana Corporate Authority is not the only Imperial allied organization that is failing to meet the high expectations of the ISB. But the more worlds on which the Empire gets directly involved in, the more they spread their resources thin. Their lack of chill will ultimately doom them. Lastly, we have Supervisor Young.
Young,
Sir?
elaborate on these added protection requests for traffic to the Abrian sector.
Proactive measures, sir. There's an increase in construction shipments going to Scarif, sir.
Ah yes, Scarif. One of the ISB's many jobs was to help the Imperial Military Department of Advanced Weapons Research. This was the only program in which the ISB worked together with their rival agency, the Imperial Military Intelligence Group. This organization depended on the ISB, their agents, and Death Troopers to keep the Death Star project a secret. The Death Star left a massive footprint because it consumed enough resources to essentially build a small moon. All he had to really do was look in the right place, and eventually you'd find this half-complete battle station. Still, the ISB did a half-decent job trying to keep it hidden.